Oh, how you doing, acolytes? I'm your uncle, and welcome to another light novel reading, obviously, or whatever you want to call it. Probably reading light novels, and today we're reading what probably would be season 5, no, season 4. We're not getting confused with High School DxD here, but season 4 of Overlord, good old Bone Daddy himself. So, we do it like this, so part 1. Let's put it up there so you can read it all. The Sorcerer King, the absolute ruler of the great underground tomb of Nazarick, and the Sorcerer's kingdom of Ainz Gone. The being who ruled the 42 supreme beings, like people like Lord Tuskme and Booga Booga Chugaba. You know, typical gamer names, eh? And the last of them remained in Nazarick. At this moment, the entity who stood had been enjoying the attention of his subordinates who curled up on the soft bed reading a book. Makes sense. Those subordinates who could kick your ass, but they're reading a good book. You know, makes sense, doesn't it? Said bed had been removed from the great underground of Nazarick to this place. What are you doing in Nazarick anymore? What? Alright then. To the private chambers of the former ruler of Eovantel, Mayor Pelostii, cannot pronounce that, but okay. Which have been partially remodeled and converted to ainz own chambers, so there's a little purple in it. Ever since it's been moved there, he could no longer detect the fragrance which was used to emanate from it had still been located in Nazarick. Perhaps it's the bed, perhaps it's because the bed doesn't have perfume sprayed on it. Yep, good old Albedo's perfume. He sprayed it so I can believe a scent now. I don't know why he does that. Yandere problems, I guess. Ainz thought he had learned his weight into the bed in question. Of course, sleep was completely unnecessary for an undead being like Ainz. Indeed, it was only a remnant of his humanity telling his mind that he should be tired. Oh, his remnants of his humanity, his conscience is in him, like his humanity side. Like he thinks to himself inside his mind, so that was why Ainz occasionally did this sort of thing, laying down on the bed to cool down for his overheated head and heart. However, that was only a temporary solution, just lying down like this for a long time, like a human being would do, quite meaningless. Of course, there was always a few exceptions to the rule. For instance, yes, while he was looking for instance in particular, when he was mindful of the ways that others were looking for him. It should be daytime any soon. Oh. A weak way of sunlight filtered in through the gap in the curtains to give Ainz a rough idea of time. With that, he stuffed the book he had been reading now back under the pillow. Okay then, what was he reading the book? Then he climbed his skull to look over the corner of the room. He saw a maid there. A maid? How rude! Yeah, she was one of Nazarick's regular maids, who wasn't human anyways. She's a homunculi. And surprised they're all blonde for some reason. Don't know why, that's their choice. And she was attending to Ainz today. To be precise, she attended to him since yesterday. Currently she was eagerly seated on the chair where her back remained straight. However, the posture had not changed since last night. From what Ainz knew, none of the maids had failed to hold their position. Her line of sight was constantly fixed on Ainz, bearing several momentary distractions. It was a truly indescribable burden. These maids go hardcore, don't they? Of course, he had not attended to his pleasure. It was simply paying a close attention to him, what would allow her to respond immediately to any situation that might arise. However, it made everyone like every man like Suzaki Satoru, who's Ainz anyway, the Japanese voice inside of him, want to cry and beg, "Spare me, please." Nobody would feel comfortable if they were constantly startled like this, especially if there was a member of the opposite sex doing it. Even if nothing happened, it made him feel like he had left something undone somewhere. The most important thing now was waiting till silently responded to Ainz if he made any movement at all. I would probably go further. I was meant to do Lucy's today, but it wasn't working with me, and I did tweet about it, so no Lucy's today. Wait until after I called Queen to finish that, and no point in restarting. That was it. A bit painful, wasn't it? Simply put, it was a miserable experience. Miserable. Of course, Ainz was an absolute ruler. If he forbade her to do so, she would stop. However, when he thought of the look on the maid's face, if he said so, he could not bring himself to speak the words wailing to his mouth. After coming to this world, ainz had quickly sprung into action in the guise of Mummon. Mummon. That's the warrior persona he has, to fight other stuff. That was the first time the maids had surrounded him like this. Even now they continued to render their services to him with all aspiring loyalty. It was because he knew that ainz could not bring himself to make them obey by force. Besides, they'll get tired after a while. It's been a month since he thought of that. It's supposed to be a story of him thinking to himself because it's like spaced out. Weird light novel here. Actually, it is a light novel. We don't read much, unlike high school DxD light novels. The idea of this state of affairs might continue forever to be filled with ainz with some degree of unease because the maids took 41 days to complete a single shift rotation. Damn. These maids work hard, don't they? He had decided to leave that matter for the future, but the line of thinking merely kicked the can down the road until now. Okay then. Is this what they call the burden and leadership? Administrating Nazarick, planning for the group's future, responding to my subordinates' wishes. People who stand on the top of it really are great. No wonder they have such high salaries. He's a salary man after all. He's a salary man. Oh. The people on top do so little and yet collect so much pay. Now he understood what they were going through. ainz laughed at his past foolishness and then he slowly rose in the bed. He's alive! Like that, probably. I don't know. See season 4 here. At this moment the maids slowly rose in their seats as well and made him feel as if there was string connecting them. How could their movements be so graceful after staying awake for the night? I'm up. I'm up. Yeah! Oh. Well, that was it anyway. Yes, and your servants will take her leave. After this today's maid will come over, take over for me. ainz did not say anything on the lines, or I'll leave it to you, but simply granted emu, and waved his hand so indicating he could carry on. Perhaps I'm being too arrogant, ainz thought. Really? Is that what you thought? Dude, you're John Skeleton, aren't you? Still, it might be better like this. He has sent Hamscare, who's that giant hamster they found in season 1, who literally decapitated someone in season 3 with a whip of the tail. Or killed by a hamster. To ask around, and the maid's first response seemed to be like, it feels like he's dominating us. ainz sum up as the best, or something like that. Okay. Does that lunch, by the way? I've seen they're all masochists. What's wrong with masochist maids? Hey, what's wrong with that? They're like paying. What's wrong with that? Employ darkness and I can know his maids, they're masochists. And why were troubled ainz when he first heard it? After calmly considering the matter, he realised that ruler needed to act and dress the part. It's what his subjects would wish for. If you can see that there. Using the company as an example, our boss had to look up and act like a boss. Like a boss. Fuck the fish. Like a boss. Dr. Deborah. Like a boss. If you don't get that, you should listen to Lonely Island. Good band or group. When he thought about that way, ainz felt that when he had done with what the Sorcerer King should have done, the fact when he had been spying on the ruler of the Empire, Jukiv, how do you pronounce his goddamn name? Random letters here. Jerkiniv Rune Fellow Egnix. That doesn't sound like a demon. It sounds like there's some of a demon with that goddamn name. What is that name, really? In his spare time, he noticed that the man could conduct himself in pretty much the same manner. Still, Suzuki Satoru had been a working man. He's a working man. He's a working man. I felt a bit uneasy about not saying something along the lines of thank you for your hard work. Then you should go to rest yourself. Ah, please allow your servant to offer her deepest thanks for her generosity, ainz. The maid bowed deeply as he expressed her gratitude and wanting some more pain. Doesn't say that, but I'll say the masochist that want pain. However, it is thanks to this item that you so graciously lent me that your servant could last stay by your side to attend you without having to rest, ainz. No, that's not what I meant, ainz muttered in his heart. It was true that the once put a ring of sustenance, one could go on day and night without any sleep. Could go all day and night. You can use that on Albedo and Sheltier. Probably Sheltier. Or in Tomo, or yeah, but you know, the same. Still, sitting on a chair and watching ainz go ainz all night, so there had been nothing of hellish. You know, she was very pleased for her decapitation. There was no need for them to go that far. At least they should cancel the night shift, the part where they watch me sleep right. Yeah, they didn't watch me sleep, it's a bit random. As maids, it was only natural for them to faithfully serve their master with their hearts and souls. The hearts and souls, yeah. He did not know exactly what the maids had said it, but he remembered hearing it from one of them. Faithfully serve their master, huh? What would you say if he wanted to live as equal to you? And like he felt that when he first came to this new world, ainz was confident that his subordinates were absolutely loyal to him as long as I paid attention to his actions and did not do anything which would disappoint them. There was no chance of their betrayal. I think they wouldn't betray you anyway, would they? If they did, then loyalty went out the window ages ago. Barring outside interference in that case, perhaps he should change the relationship between them and put themselves on the equal footing with the NPCs. That might be a good choice to make at some point. Yeah, probably, who knows. If you can see that there. Whoops. If that happened, ainz would be free from his life of being a ruler or having to rack his brains all day in addition. Maybe when you get I forgot his name now, the guy in the red suit, obviously. It would be like before indeed, but just like during the guild days. I wonder if I go back to that sort of life again. That sort of life again. Never gonna leave with love again. Whenever he spoke to the NPCs, he kept imagining his former friends opposed over them because of that. Ainz hoped that he would not have to relate to them in the capacity of master to a servant, but rather the way I had in the past. No, ainz thought he mentally shook his head. As ainz mentally shook his head. Remember the comma there? Commas are important when you read with them. While he did not know what plant seeds were disappointing in his subjects, such a dramatic change in circumstances not appeared to be a wise decision. In addition, since he knew that they desired a master-servant relationship with him, it was his responsibility as their master to continue that in that capacity. At the same time, as the last person who remained here, he had to do everything he could do for the NPCs. The children! And they got brighter all of a sudden. The maid excused herself to ainz and left the room. Well, they get to the torture room. Ding, 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 ding. In that moment, ainz sprung into action. First, he replaced the book under the pillow with another book. Okay. The book he substituted he had a very complex title. I was looking at it would make anyone lose the will to continue reading. And the book he was reading last night went into his personal pocket dimension. His inventory. Yep, he's inventory, alright. Not pocket dimension. After placing the book where it would not be easily stolen, ainz breathed a sigh of relief. He's a skeleton, he doesn't even have heart. He doesn't have lungs. You saw him with that book with no clothes on, he had no lungs, apart from a thing in the middle there. Ooh, back there. That too was part of his responsibilities as their master, apparently. He certainly did not want to read those difficult books which made his head hurt all night. Okay. If possible, he wanted to read some popular books instead. However, some being spotted reading such books would damage ainz dignity as a ruler. However, ainz was forced to take such troublesome measures. Alright then. The only person who probably looked bad on you was probably the devil guy in a bedo, really. Really, well, not a bedo, just that guy. Incidentally, he already taken into consideration that the maids would move the book under the pillow to another location. Now he had finished everything he could do in the bed. Ainz specified the thin gaze canopy which shrouded the bed and rose to his feet. Just then, several knocks came from the door. Shortly after that, the maid who was due to take over the next shift opened the door and entered the room. What maids do you have? As she saw ainz getting off the bed, she smiled and approached him. It looked like she was the maid assigned to accompany ainz today. Good morning, Fifth. Oh yeah, they're real random names, don't they? A blading radiant smile dawned on the maid's face. Good morning, ainz. I'll be your care today. You know he doesn't need care, the same. If Fifth had a tail, she'd be whacking it with all their might. Suddenly he thought of Pestonia wagging her tail in the past. Who's Pestonia? Who is that? Her maid uniform was the same as one by the previous maid, at 4th, unlike the battle maids, the regular battle maids, the Pleiades, all good waifus, the same. Even the one that's actually a full-on spider, but you know, the same. The regular maids all wore the same uniform, however their exact appearance varied between each maid, but because each maid wearing them was different. Ainz recalled something that one of his friends had said often, that it seemed to have taken up resonance in his ear. Simple maid's outfits are good, but decorated maid's outfits are the best. There was a follow-up to that. In other words, maid uniforms are the best. I guess your friend was very into maids then, wasn't he? They're saying. No matter how they look, maid uniforms are the greatest invention in human history. Wow. Viva maid uniforms? That's random. I know Ainz did not know what he meant by Viva. Viva means yeah, in Spanish, dipshit. There was probably some kind of explanation. It might have been some personality invented term, and in this way, Ainz recalled the memories of his past companions, bit by bit. Ainz smiled bitterly. You know, his facial expression did not change, of course, and silently looked at the maid. Ainz, is there somewhere I can help serve you? Blah, 5th. What did they give the maids number names? What are they? The Fransusu? Yes, I did watch that. It's only not a light novel. 5th blusters, her hands gripped tight, gripped the uniform of aim. It was then Ainz realised his carelessness. Forgive me, it seems that yes, it seems I was somewhat entranced by you. Then let's go. Eh? Ah yes, understood. The maid froze for a moment. I still managed an energetic reply. She fell to a step behind him and they left the room. Ainz passed through several other rooms where we saw they could not be compared to the scenery in the 9th floor of the tomb. Thus Ainz decided to stay here. The Guardians voiced their objections one after another. The Guardians are there as usual. Point. This place is lacking in taste as the residence to a supreme being. Point. The defensive capability of this place is lacking and has inadequate protection against spies. Point apparently. However, Ainz shrugged off all these objections aside and selected this place as his home. Really? Provided he lived in the tomb and anything. Do we ever see that in season 4? Really? This was his responsibility as a king. After all, Duke Neve lived lived in the Imperial Palace of the Imperial capital, or at least that was what he wanted people to think. The fact was that his place was luxurious enough for Ainz. No, for Suzaki Satoru. His old home was even less worthy in comparison. In addition, his room on the 9th floor has always been too fussy and too large. What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. He did not mind when it was still a game. However, now that he actually had to live there, he was actually aware that there was no place for him within his walls. All Ainz wanted to do was burrow into a corner of the room. Ainz led 5th, and the 8th assassin who dropped from the ceiling to the dressing room. Who? Who dropped from the ceiling? Who was that? I don't know, ladies. Several regular maids were already there waiting for Ainz. They executed respectful bows to him in unison. 5th swiftly joined their ranks as well. Ainz, would you like to wear today? Our 5th asked in a voice with bursts of energy. What do you always wear? That gown thing. What do you think? Oh, there's a sparkle in 5th's eyes. Come to think of it, didn't anyone who had the job have the same sparkle in their eyes as well? They do say that the ladies like clothing. Is that how they express it, or do they like this in clothes and accessories? Wow. God damn it, Suzaku. God damn it. A steady sensation of fatigue crept over him, but he could not sew it. Instead, he went to Umu in a conceited way. What's Umu? Or at least that was how I felt when he practiced beforehand. Frankly speaking, Ainz did not need to change his clothes. Of course not. His magic robes will not get wrinkled if he spent all night rolling around on the bed. His body did not excite any waste products. The dust floating in the air cannot settle on him, but all he had to do was brush it off. In addition, any place to where Ainz had already been thoroughly cleaned by the maids. Furthermore, he don't need to eat or drink. Wow, what a half-life him. He can't eat or drink. He has no boner either with a bedo with. first he would not get dirty from those activities. But that's bad. Yes, bad. Wearing the same set of clothes would not pose a problem to him. Well, we know this, don't we? However, none of his supporters could permit that, yet it was only expected having their absolute will wear the same thing every day with ruin his image. True. That said, ainz would not confident in his ability to coordinate his outfit. He's all powerful, but can't decide his outfit. Wow. Now, if you're preparing his equipment for battle after considering his opponent's abilities and skills and planning out his tactics, he'll be quite confident in his ability to select the appropriate loadout, the best combat the foe he was facing. However, to some extent, the experience gained by Suzuki Satoru allowed him to comment on whether this necktie will work with the suit. They don't let him say anything whether this purple robe with silver jewellery matches a silver necklace socketed with 4 diamonds and so on in addition. He had to select clothes that match a skeletal body. First world game problems, I guess. However, if he wore a mismatched outfit, people might doubt his sense of style as a leader. Yeah, I've seen certain people as leaders, right? That would be like betraying his loyal supporters. What does he think that? Fearful ainz had to give the most he's at most even in the matter of dressing himself. They're laying by a fatal problem. Would any of his supporters come out if ainz had wore something unsuitable? If a similar situation to a topi slipping off the head of a CEO or some large companies, nobody would dare say anything. Reference Trump there, are you? Good old Trumpy boy, I don't know. That being in the case, there was only alternative left to him. Fifth, I'll leave it to you, prefer a set of clothing that best suits me. Understood, leave it to me, ainz. You're 7, I'll take care of the greatest care and the choices. Don't have to get worked up though, ainz thought that, but he had never actually said so to the mates before. I think red suits you, ainz. Therefore, I think I've been using red as a base colour for coordinating your job. What do you think? I just said that I'll leave the matter to you. That being the case, there's no need to confirm your choices for me. Yes, understood, said one of the maids with no proper names. If he had no confidence in himself, then all he needed to do was hand the task to someone else, like he was allowed the maid to pick for him. Yeah, I have to pick the maid for him, eh? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? ainz was very troubled by the crimson robes he had selected. However, the red colour was so bright that it almost hurt his eyes. It was so adorned by many huge pattern-like gemstones. That's a bit old. It might have been a set if they're all the same colour, but the many gemstones reflected half a dozen colours in light. In addition, the garment was edged with straight counters embroidered with gold thread. Is this really normal clothing? The last few dialogues that they've been choosing clothes here. This would know in a few seconds in the goddamn anime, wouldn't it? Is this really normal clothing? Can be considered clothing in the normal sense of the word? He felt like a sounds bored. What? He felt like a sounds bored man, limited by neon lights. That's a weird image. He could never have picked this clothing at his own accord, or rather, ainz began to wonder why he had never bought this in the first place. Since he had no recollection of his guild members forcing it upon him by the process of elimination, he must himself obtained it somewhere. Some crappy quest, I guess. Was it a gift? Did he win it in the lottery or some kind of event? Well, still, it can't be helped, huh? Even recalling how he obtained to have not made the crimson robe before him vanish. While it'd be easy for him, if he simply refused, he would turn I'll leave it to you, and he told Fifth into a lie. More to the point, ainz might be the only one who had it about him while everyone else liked it, or rather, that was like the case. And to put it more bluntly, since Fifth had selected his robe, he could blame her if anyone commented on it. Yeah, that's one way to execute someone, blame her on it. Yeah, I get into a bit inside, ainz, or Suzaku, where I really am a terrible boss. To some extent you are. Ainz knew that was nothing, ainz knew this was not something of which he could be proud, and feel guilty about it. I don't know why he is. Putting the blame to someone else was not a laudable conduct for a boss. For superior ainz knew this, but even so he needed someone to preserve his dignity. He had to protect himself by sacrificing his subordinates. That's where he goes full villain there. It cannot be helped. Sorry about that. But my sincerest apologies. It's fine, I was talking to myself, but I no need, come to think of it. ainz decided to choose his words carefully as he asked this question. There's something I'd like to ask. Do you think this robe is a bit too gaudy for me? Certainly not. After all, it's just about everything that looks good on the ainz. No, I feel that black as a base with dark brown as a secondary colour is good to you, but wearing such colours all the time will show off your other virtues, ainz. All this to imprint your powerful image to the eyes of anyone who ainz interrupted Gosling flow of words. It's fine, as long as it's suitable, it's fine. And he kept then, could you dress me? Understood, said Fifth, where we call her. Fifth and the other maids got to work. Got to work. Yes, got to work. Dressing the skeleton. I don't know. As ainz remained standing, the maid certainly slightly removed ainz's clothing. The act of having these clothes changed by women, even if his body was nothing more than a skeleton, filled him with burning shame. But of course, such a gesture was a natural act for an absolute ruler. Absolute ruler. At least it was the way for Jerkniv. That was the way for Jerkniv. Ainz also had the same thing in one of his books. Ainz remained still and allowed the maid to work while he certainly looked into the dressing mirror. Soon, a red-robed ainz appeared in the mirror. I expected it was gaudy, but it was nothing but gaudy. Nothing but gaudy. Oh. No, it was this world is a pretty diverse so of aesthetics. Well, I know these clothes might be quite suitable for a ruler to wear. He recalled Hamsky, for example, and Questies unease. Then, let's go. These thoughts went through his head as he strode forth. I come to be our Fifth, how he wished he had time to sigh. What's that mean there? What's the diamonds mean? Diamonds? Diamonds are forever. Probably read a bit more, I don't know really long we recorded for actually. A swaying gaudy robe advanced towards his office as ainz neared the door. Fifth swiftly darted towards it, cautiously opened it for him. Sometimes he thought of saying, it's just a door, let me open it. However, as he watched the look on the maid's face which said, whoa, look at me, I'm working, ainz could nothing but accept this form as an automatically opening door. Ainz led Fifth and the eight assassin into the office. Who was that? The desk in the centre of the room was like one that ainz had his own room and radiated an air of gravitas. He had been brought here from Nazareth along with his bed. A flag hung above the desk of the room. The flag of Ainz Al-Gun of the Sorceress Kingdom, yes. Ainz passed through the room and approached the balcony. There was a glass box on the balcony. It was not very large and contained a jungle environment. Okay, what? Ainz inserted his bony finger into the box with deemed devoid of life and lifted a leaf hidden beneath that was a creature that hid in the darkness to avoid the sunlight. Okay, then it made sense, I guess. His briefly covered body was coated with sickly yet sickly His brightly coloured body was coated with sickly yet sickly secretions, and the front part of his body resembled a pair of human lips. Okie dokie then. Ainz carefully studied the lip bulb before his eyes. That's a good colour, it looked quite lively, what? He remembered the way he had been once told there was one to colour that was very important. He also recalled having several lip bulbs placed in front of him. What are lip bulbs? Okay. And being taught to where they were only taken by the colour, and indeed the lip bulb before him seemed much more lively than the others at the time. What? Ainz picked out a fresh cabbage leaf from the nearby plate. Come, no, it's time to eat. He brought the leaf close to the lip bug, which latched onto it with a nom. After he let go of the leaf, the lip bug fancied took last mouthfuls of it. What's a lip bug? I don't know. Ainz brought 2 more leaves with the lip bug readily devoured as well. He decided to stop there because the Toma best bug girl in the whole series. He decided to stop there because the Toma had told him that overfeeding it was not good. Oh, so Toma gave you the lip bug. Alright then. Ainz gently returned the fed and happy lip bug to its shaded home in the glass box, to the place it loved most. It seemed a little gross at first, but after taking off a while, it was going to be quite cute. That's good of a Toma. The Toma knows quite cute bugs. It was not speaking to anyone in particular, just talking to himself. Ainz had a cheerful smile on his face as he closed the thin box lid. The box is not very sturdy and the lip bug could escape if it really wanted to. The reason ainz was used to prove his competence in being able to take care of its own occupant, and said it was a mercenary who wants to spawn with gold. Oh, that's what it is then. Never mind then. So the question of whether it would not escape still had no answer. Well, okay then, it's a mercenary bug. Okay. Reading a lot, yeah, I know. Read a bit more, but I don't know. Where's part 2? No, part 2. No, then. Ainz gently cleaned his hands with a nearby cloth, and after finishing all his tasks of the morning, he took a seat in his chair, he leaned his weight back into it and let his body sink in deeply. Wow. Ah, work. There's no official working hours, but my heart still sinks around this time. I guess old habits die hard. The desk did not have much as a space of dust, to say nothing of documents. It was completely unlike Suzaku Satoru's desk. All he answered stuff that was like the beginning of a story, a bit odd. All this because he did not have to work for the night. Ainz's job was to make the big decisions, not worrying about the fine details. After he decided the overall direction, his subordinates went into action. Still, this way is so difficult. The first time I realised that the difficulty of a job is determined by how much responsibility is placed on oneself. It's more mentally than physically thin, and it's carefully not more stressful as it's time to start work. There was no need to look at a watch. At the precise moment, a knock came at the door. Fifth, was standing by attention by the door, verified the identity of the caller. Ainz, it is Albedo, good old succubus, and the elder liches, whoever the elder liches are. I have no idea who the elder liches. Just older skeletons, I don't know. There was respect in Fifth's voice, because the elder liches were Ainz's personal creations. Oh, okay. I see, they may enter. Fifth stepped away from the door to make way for the visitors. Albedo entered the room at the head of the 6 elder liches. Good morning, Ainz said. Oh no, good morning, Ainz. After Albedo's greeting, the elder liches bowed their heads deeply, and they barely even talked. Umu. I don't know what Umu means, you know. Umu, good morning, Albedo. It seems today's weather is quite fine. Indeed it is. Our reports will be sunny all day. Of course, it is your wish as the ultimate ruler of this world. Really wants to get into his pants, doesn't he? Oh, Albedo really wants to get into his pants. We can produce any weather you desire. So we proceed, Ainz. Any weather? Tornadoes everywhere and thunder. That's the best weather. This is just using the relevant topic to begin a conversation, but did not expect her to start off with a suggestion like that. This will not be necessary. I like the change in the weather. Sunny days are fine. The roaring thunder of rainy days is to be savoured. And a gentle fall of snow is quite intriguing. One could say that you could draw days entertainment just watching natural changes to the weather. Ainz did not dislike this world's changing climate. In this unspoiled world, he found that he could understand his former comrade Blue Planet's words. Blue Planet? Really? The rain was originally nature's blessing. Wow. Betty's friend was a hippie, wasn't he? It was best to let nature remain neutral. Yes, understood, of course. I sense that you had no desire to alter weather, but I had to be asked, Ainz. After all, you are not so a leader who directly order us around us to satisfy your desires. Is that so? It doesn't feel like that to me. Ainz thought about it, but he could not come up with anything particularly he wanted when he was still Suzaki. His mind was filled with thoughts of Yggdrasil, and after his body had become like this, it had only gotten worse. Although he's not sure, it was a side effect of becoming an undead creature. The chance of always having been this way is quite high. If he had to speak for a desire for anything, it would be desire for collecting rare items, and also Ainz smiled in loneliness and gently shook his head. Probably like that. No, it might be just you as to say, however, it's simply nothing, because there is nothing I truly want. If I develop any desires, I will naturally give the appropriate orders at the time. When the time comes, I hope you allow me, as a guardian overseer, to select people who immediately respond to your desires, Albedo replied as he lowered her head. When it came back up, her face was somewhat flushed. Oh, it happened again. However, your clothes today are quite spectacular. They're extraordinarily radiant. No, they're so bright as you were wearing them at Ainz. Albedo continued lowering her praise on them. She really wanted to get in his pants. Just saying. The radiance of which he spoke was probably the gemstone that seemed to be substitute for buttons, as his skull did not reflect the light. Ainz nodded as he thought about this. Is that so? As I must thank you for Albedo. You are too kind. I will simply state the obvious, Ainz, so you are truly... Ainz raised his hand to interrupt Albedo as he excitedly prepared to continue. He had the feeling that letting her go on would drag on the conversation for a long time. Yep, he does talk about it for a long time, just saying. Let's leave that matter aside for now then. What are the documents you knew were handling yesterday, Albedo? Yes. Albedo puffed her cheeks in an adorable manner, and the elder liches followed her directions and placed her documents on the table. The pile of documents stacked them on top of each other in a sizable thickness. The files themselves did not contain much in the way of proposals, but there were a lot of supporting documents attached to them. Also, how he needed data from many fields in his old job. It was seen that way I was all prepared racing with a complicated problem. He had prepared his heart for this. Spines had spent almost psyching himself up and stiffening himself resolved for this moment. Suzuki was a mere employee, and he was not the sort who interacted with company's operations. If asked whether someone like them could manage the entire country, Ainz would have confidently answered no, or rather even the operations manager would find it difficult to run a country. Was he an operations manager? No, he was a salary man, wasn't he? How have we got to go here? Got a lot to go here. Where were we? Where were we? I forgot where we were now. Whoops. There we go. This made matters worse, as that Ainz was an absolute ruler. If there were any mistakes in the words he spoke, his subordinates would rally together to turn them into a reality. Was anything scarier than that? A single word from Ainz might lead to a mass suicide. Whoop, don't that, do ya? Don't want a mass suicide. No. That being the case, what did he do? The answer was very simple. Much like his clothes, he had to hand that responsibility to capable people. Being able to skillfully outget one's subordinates according to their strength was also a essential quality in their boss. That said, there was also no problems of completely delegating everything to others. Indeed, he could rest assured that if he was left at Albedo's care, he was king, not a mere figurehead. As someone in a high position, being superior, causing the being a superior's responsibilities. There were some tasks he could not be escaped by saying, I know nothing. As such, Ainz began to be reading the stack of documents and become top to bottom, placing the will seal at each one. After rhythmically stamping several documents, Ainz paused, selecting one of them as the day's target, opened it, pursued the contents, and then... I don't get it after all. Does this have to do with the material resources? Is this very important? Do the elder liches really understand? Well, they were made by me. Well, they were made by me. How can this difference in ability be explained? Well, no, reading this is already tiresome, just like reading legal documents. Now, I think I'll just leave it here. I don't know, I've been recording for, but it seemed long, so yeah, so. We'll finish this off next time. I don't know how long we're going to go. Is that part 2 there? No. Part 2 doesn't come for a long way, that's it. I mean, yeah, so let's leave it there. So, if you enjoyed me reading this first part of be season 4 of Overlord, so probably finish off, do the rest of it next time, probably, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, we'll talk about clothes and how to run a country here mainly, so yeah, so, if you enjoyed this and want more, there'll be no games this week, and there'll be no games next week either, it'll be a tier maker and another review, so, there will be games after the week after though, just saying, so we get to that, so. If you enjoyed this and want more, don't forget to come on in the darkness and smash the like button, boys. Stay spooky. Toodles.